watching the NCAA Volleyball National Final presented by Northwestern Mutual. And all systems are go right now for the 6-time national champs with a 2-0 lead. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Rose, your team showed some resilience there in set 2. They were down but fought their way back. What was the biggest change you felt like they made to get back in it?
Well, I mean, we just made some plays. I mean, they're a terrific serving team. And, you know, they can get you out of sorts pretty quick. So, you know, I mean, I thought we would battle back. We just needed some ball control and need a couple kids to keep some pressure on them serving as well. You know, we're a little ahead of them in blocking right now. I'm not sure that's what everybody thought would happen, but you know, we know we're in for a tough match, so we're gonna have to come out and be ready to go right out of the gate here.
Well, Jennifer Hampson has been pretty good against you. Everybody else hasn't really woken up yet for BYU, but what can you do better against Hampson?
Well, I don't know what you do. She's, you know, you don't have anybody in your gym that you can use to replicate her, especially at a tournament like this. But you know, the one that's really causing us problems right now is the middle hitter. So you know, we have to get a little better matchup with her. Hopefully, Haley will step in a little bit more.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, here's how things have played out thus far, with Penn State winning both of the first 2 sets. Whitney with 9 kills on 20 swings to lead the way. BYU has been spreading it around a bit. Hampson was the leader thus far. And let's talk about, Coach, how Penn State has been able to keep her busy at times and really take her out on that last set.
Yeah, watch this. It's really a chess match. If you want to reduce the BYU offense to something very predictable and you don't have a swing, get the ball to Hampson. Now she's out of the play and the ball has to go over to the left side, and they set up a perfect block. There's only one option. Watch it in live time. There's only one option for BYU, and that is off to our right, their left side. Easy block for Haley Washington. Point Penn State, and 1 set away now from a 6th title in 8 years.
Can BYU prevent it? It has happened before in NCAA tournament history, down 0-2, and you've rallied to win. It's happened 3 times, most recently in 2009 when Penn State rallied from down 0-2 to Texas to come back and win the title. BYU here for the first time in the championship game, trying to become the first unseeded team to win a national championship, and they would need to make some history to do it.
And they were in a good position. They were up 12-8, forcing Coach Rose to use that time, burn that first time out much earlier than he would like.
Penn State gets a point on the Hancock serve. That's just the 2nd she's gotten for them thus far. BYU's been pretty good against her. Hancock goes to Franti. Net violation on BYU. Down 0-2 and coming back to win it all. Hawaii in 1982, UCLA in 1991, and Penn State in 2009.
That was the one where they went in at the intermission, and Coach Rose pretty much peeled the paint off the walls and let them have it. And they came back to beat Texas 15-13 in the 5th game.
That was the 2nd in the Penn State 4-peat. From 2007 to 2010, 4 straight titles. Came back and won another one last year. And the point for Grant. (41-2) in the NCAA tournament over the last 8 years for the Nittany Lions. Hancock with the back set to Whitney, dug up by Welling. Nobles gets a swing and gets the kill.
Sometimes, Beth, as the matches wear on, you'll see coaches decide to put a new server at the service line. They can put any one of their 6 players on the floor ready to serve, but neither coach changing anything. So we expect the same matchup. Hancock was the first server for Penn State. Same starting rotation for BYU. And I think that was because Coach Olmsted said, thought to himself, look, we were so close. We were at 23 all, 24 all right there.
Lost the first set by 4, the second set by 2. A disconnect there for BYU. It's a point, Penn State.
And we heard with the interview with Holly, Coach Rose talking about how we have to contain number 10, the middle hitter. You could see how interested the Penn State blockers were. 2 people up on that play.
Hampson gets a swing and the kill. Let's check in with Holly.
BYU has some fantastic fans at home in Provo, Utah. They have jammed into the court where BYU usually plays at the Smith Fieldhouse. They're watching it up on the big screen. They are great fans. They usually pack that place for home matches. Elaine Michaelis, who built that program, is proud as that is the court named after her.
And thanks to BYU TV for hooking us up with that footage. Elaine Michaelis was the coach when the Cougars were here in the national semifinals in 1993, and now back 21 years later and going one step farther, playing in their first championship.
And she was around at summer camp when Alexa Gray was there, and she said, you got to land her. And Coach Sean Olmsted did. She was the first commit in his tenure as coach in his 4th season here with BYU.
And this year, the West Coast Conference Player of the Year. She has rotated out. Hancock and Washington were there with a block.
Nice.
The defense for Penn State keeps it up. Robbins Hardy going to Boswell, and Courtney solo right on the net.
Courtney, again, is Penn State's best left side blocker. Penn State chooses to just leave her one-on-one, and boy, does she take care of business.
Olmsted doesn't want the train to get rolling too far down the tracks here in the 3rd. He'll call a timeout with Penn State up a couple sets and up 3 points.
Lay down your head and show me if you like it.
The Versace Bright Crystal Holiday Gift Set.
Ears and read me like a book.
Available at Macy's, your fragrance destination.
Musical chairs. Fun, right? Well, not when your travel rewards card makes it so hard to get a seat using your miles. That's their game. The flights you want are blacked out, or they ask for some ridiculous number of miles. Honestly, it's time to switch to the Venture card from Capital One. With Venture, use your miles on any airline, any flight, anytime, no blackout dates. And with every purchase, you'll earn unlimited double miles. From now on, no one's taking your seat away. What's in your wallet?
Penn State up a couple of sets. They're up here early in the 3rd. Well, Sunday on SportsCenter, Mike Tirico will sit down with Peyton Manning, and they'll talk about playoffs, Manning's legacy, and the Monday night football game in Cincinnati. It's the Sunday conversation with Peyton Manning on the 11 p.m. SportsCenter with Mike Tirico. Oklahoma City and Chesapeake Energy Arena. Beth Mullins, Karts Karai, Holly Rowe, and the national championship match. And out of the timeout, the kill for Jennifer Hampson, her 11th.
That's that rotation that can be so costly for BYU if they don't execute well. That time, perfect execution. And now Alexa Gray checked back in. She's the one who came alive for them. But they didn't have her on the floor at the end of that 2nd set when they needed her most to finish it out.
Megan Courtney gets the kill. Point Penn State.
And boy, was Courtney good in the semifinals 2 nights ago against Stanford. Unstoppable. Career high 23 kills.
Also had 16 digs on the night. One thing she has talked about is the experience of these Penn State players to just go out and play it like it's any other game. That's part of the culture that has been passed down from the championship teams year to year in Happy Valley. Point Nittany Lions.
One of the few times that Gray has been stopped all tournament long, and really it was the net that stopped her on that one, trying to hit down and too sharp.
They'll get it to her again and uses Hancock for the point.
And I think that's a pretty good choice by Robbins Hardy to get it back to her big gun on the left side. Make sure Gray keeps going, they're going to need her to be big. And at this point, if you're BYU, you got to be thinking we just need to get one set and give ourselves the ability to believe that we can beat this team as good as Penn State is. Very tentative swing by Gray there.
Point Penn State. Sometimes when you play the Nittany Lions, there's some intimidation just in the jersey alone. You certainly didn't get that sense from BYU as they were preparing for this national championship match. They have knocked off 4 seeded teams in a row, trying for a 5th and their first national title. Pushed wide by Gray.
And they better be careful, BYU. That was not a well-executed play. Having trouble looking each other in the eye. This is the time you have to come together when you're down by 5 and down 2-0 in sets to keep the season alive.
Back to Gray. Block is able to slow it down again. Hancock shoots it all the way across to the freshman Franti, and she's denied. Stuffed by Young.
A rare stuff on BYU's right side, and it's because they finally closed that seam between the two blockers.
Chance for the Cougars. Hampson. Courtney was there. Now she'll swing out of the back. The rocket from Courtney. Point Penn State.
Wow, has she been good in this tournament. I like the outlet here of setting just behind the setter. She had gone beyond the midpoint of the court, and there was a lot of space to hit at for Megan Courtney.
Nittany Lions, now you can sense the momentum on that side of the net. From the players and from the fans, they're used to these situations. They've seen it enough. The ace for Hancock.
Her first ace. This is that motion that she has, that left-handed curveball that goes right into the corner pocket.
BYU has to use its second and final timeout. Things are starting to get away from them as Penn State is trying to lock down another national championship.
Head to the Kia Holiday Sales Event and get great year-end deals, like 0% financing for up to 72 months on the Optima and Sorrento. But that's not the only thing getting people's attention. Edmunds.com says Kia vehicles stand out for their value, performance, and sporty styling. Plus, get a first look at the all-new Sedona. So hurry into the Kia Holiday Sales Event today. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the Optima and Sorrento. Hurry to your nearest Washington, D.C. neighborhood Kia retailer today.
Penn State up a couple of sets. They lead here in the third, trying to close out the match. Well, for more great social photos live from the NCAA tournament, go to ESPNW.com/volleyball snapshots. And some looks behind the scenes here in Oklahoma City. Penn State and BYU, that was the stash selfie. Coach Olmstead's been taking one of those after every win in this NCAA tournament. That was after the semis a couple of nights ago. They need a major turnaround if he's going to have a photo op later tonight, because right now the Nittany Lions are looking dominant.
Hancock with good rhythm those last two serves, an ace and then a near ace, creating an easy blocking opportunity for Penn State.
Just like we saw last year in the finals, she's getting better behind the line the deeper we get into the match. 4 points already on her 2 serves this set. And the roll, get it, another one.
And what's interesting, this is Gray's responsibility, but she's late arriving. And then when she gets up, watch, she doesn't go into the huddle. This is the time BYU, as a young and less experienced team, nobody's been here before, they really have to band together. They need each other more than ever now.
Back set, they go to Whitney again. Robbins-Hardy was there. They have to use the libero to set. They don't get a good swing on it. And it's Franti pushing it deep. And Hampson sends it long. 16-7, Nittany Lions. BYU doesn't have a timeout to slow it down.
They have used up their timeouts. They've had a couple of touches that were not what they wanted by any means. Hampson with that last one got to at least give your team a chance. And there's another chance off the tough serve of Hancock.
And the block will end it momentarily here for BYU.
Alexa Gray setting up and taking line. Franti's been having success at that, but she hasn't been hitting against Gray over there.
Gray now rotates out. See if that might be a play, though, that will get her going. And the double contact whistled on Robbins-Hardy.
And that's a good call.
Opportunities are running shorter for BYU. Down 17-8 in the third. If Penn State wins the set, they win the match. They win a record 7th national championship. It would be their 6th in 8 years. Point Penn State. And now the only way to slow things down a bit is to get some substitutions into the game. Russ Rose and Penn State, the first 3 times they came to the finals, they lost. And now the last 6 times, they've gone home victorious, trying to make it 7 straight. Whitney, stuffed but kept alive, and the kill for Grant. Off the ricochet, and all the bounces going Penn State's way.
A really good blocking move by BYU, but a scramble play. Nobody can plan for this. A stab at the ball by Whitney, and it goes into the perfect place to score.
Hampson uses the block. It's the kill for BYU. 12 now for Jennifer.
As you said, out of timeouts, the only thing BYU could do to slow things down, even for just a couple of seconds, is to substitute out Jen Hampson just for a play.
Hancock with the one-handed back set. BYU able to bounce it up. Whitney again through the block. 11 kills now for Ayanna.
Clearly, Penn State having the belief that they have a great advantage behind the setter, hitting on that right side. No success for BYU on defense there.
Hampson got it down. Hancock, Courtney swooping in for the kill. Oh, no, check that net violation on Penn State. Point for BYU.
It would have been a kill, but the ball stayed in the air so long because she hit it so hard that she then landed, and her momentum took her into the net.
Here's Hampson back to serve. Redirected by Nobles. Courtney off the block. Coming on strong. Her 9th kill of the match. 4 points away from a record 7th national championship for the Nittany Lions in Russ Rose's 10th trip to the final. Back to Courtney. Last year, when they won it all, they won the final 25 matches they played. This year, hot again when it matters the most. If they close it out, it would be 20 wins in a row en route to a championship. Courtney. Misfired. Point Cougars.
And there were a lot of people thinking number 5 seed might be a little low for the NCAA tournament with a tradition like Penn State's.
Courtney relentless here in the 3rd. And it's appearing like the remarkable run for the unseeded Cougars may be coming to an end. Hampson out of the back. Point BYU. Serve receive now for the Nittany Lions and a chance to get it to match point. Washington stood up. Franti missed it. 2 freshmen for Penn State had a chance. Outside to Franti. Hampson well off the net. Match point, Nittany Lions. On the brink of a 6th title in 8 years. Off the tape and the ace to end it. And the dynasty continues in Happy Valley with a record 7th NCAA crown. A dominating performance in the final for Russ Rose's Nittany Lions. They close it out 25-14 in the 3rd set. Another trophy headed home to Penn State, championship point, and it's an ace for the Nittany Lions as they defeat the Cougars of BYU and get a 3-0 sweep.
Success doesn't just happen. It takes work. At Northwestern Mutual, we'll help you build a financial plan and stick with it, doing the little things that can lead to big rewards.
The new fragrance from Prada.
At Macy's, your fragrance destination.
The good more is capturing the moment they open their gifts from Verizon.
Whoa, a Bose Bluetooth speaker.
And cut.
The not so good more
All right, honey, this time face towards the light.
is take two.
Are you naughty? Are you nice? That's the tension I need to see. All right, we're losing light, people. Action.
Wow.
Cut. I'm not feeling it, sweetheart. We're gonna have to go in a different direction.
Doug?
Now 50% off new Android smartphones like the Sony Xperia Z3V.
Wow.
Nice.
And get $150 credit when you switch to Verizon.
All right, so this Tylenol arthritis lasts 8 hours, but Aleve can last 12 hours. And Aleve is proven to work better on pain than Tylenol arthritis. So why am I still thinking about this?
How are you?
Aleve, proven better on pain.
This fall, NCAA.com is Championship Central. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place.
Fight for each other! Believe in each other!
With exclusive access.
Why'd we come here?
Live broadcasts of multiple fall championships across all divisions. And on-demand highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NCAA for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any picture, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NCAA's consent is prohibited.
The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship is presented by Northwestern Mutual, proud to be an official corporate partner of the NCAA.
The celebration underway for Penn State, a record 7th NCAA championship in Oklahoma City, the hometown of Micah Hancock. And she's with Holly.
Well, Micah, you had tried to keep your emotions in check all week, playing so close to home in your senior season. So what finally did you allow yourself to feel when that final point went across the net?
You know, he tells us all the time that tape ball can make a difference, and it definitely did. And it was Aguilera who, she's always struggling with serving, and she's like, I wish coach would get up my butt, but, you know, it was a struggle all season, and it was great that we proved ourselves.
BYU got out to a hot start. They led at 3-0 at one point, but when did you feel your team started to get in a groove?
You know, we've played with this calmness and confidence that we've, as the seniors, tried to instill in our freshmen, and they came out and did a great job for us, and we just performed at a high level.
What does it mean to win it here at home in front of your family?
You know, it hasn't really kicked in yet. You know, ask me tomorrow and I'll tell you a better answer, but, you know, it just feels great. I'm at home. I can go home in 10 minutes if I wanted to, so it's just amazing.
Thank you very much. Champion and home.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Holly. Well, very similar, Karch, to what we saw from Penn State in the semifinal against Stanford. They took away the top option and kept Inky Ajanaku quiet. Tonight, the same thing with Alexa Gray, who only hit .214, and Jennifer Hampson, who had 14 kills, but also 11 errors, and they outblocked the best blocking team in the country.
A couple of real strengths for this program you have to win 7 in 9 years. Number one, no matter how young those players are, they are ready for the big moments. People like Ali Franti and Haley Washington, those freshmen, it was like that there wasn't even a title match. And then you're right, they take away opponents' strengths and force them into their weaknesses, and it just squeezes them until they have nothing left.
And it also helps when you've got a tremendous leader and a senior setter who was the National Player of the Year.
Yeah, she does so much to help her team at the service line, on offense, both as a hitter, and of course she ran behind her. We saw those last 2-3 now. That was relentless attack and exploitation of a weakness that they felt. Consistently scoring behind the setter. Really well executed by Micah Hancock.
They won the close one in the second, even though they trailed for much of that, and then steamrolled them in the third to win 3-0 to get the sweep. An incredible season and an incredible finish for BYU. They are the first unseeded team to get to the finals, and they play in their first national championship match. But they run into Penn State, and the dynasty continues for another season with their record 7th NCAA title. Once again, our final score, Penn State with the sweep of BYU to win the national championship. Coming up next, college basketball with NC State and West Virginia. But first, let's go to the college basketball scoreboard. Thanks so much for joining us all year long on our NCAA volleyball coverage as we close it out in Oklahoma City. A familiar scene with Penn State raising the trophy.
Hey there, welcome.